One.
Hello, fellow mystery guilders. We are on a little bit of an adventure uptown today, and here we are outside of Trinity Church. Take a look at this. This is quite the masterpiece of a church. It's huge. You've heard me talk about my electro-archaeology studies a little bit, and this is a perfect example right here. You see, when you have metal roofs floating in the sky like that, if they're ungrounded, they'll start accumulating a static charge, so they keep them grounded, right? If you come with me, I'll show you here. This is an example of it being grounded here. So you see this braided cable? Are you able to see the braided cable there? So that's going up to the metal. Like, that's not an electrical cable for running anything like lights or anything. That's literally just a grounding cable. So, yeah, let's get a good shot of the roof again. So, if you were to remove that cable, what happens is the top starts spewing electrons away into the air and slowly gains an electron disparity, and that's what a positive charge is in terms of static electricity. If you see me with my Van der Graaff generator, the little static ball there that you can make sparks fly, these buildings work in the same way, where that would basically be that dome on the top, and the ground is the negative base. So the Earth's surface has a surplus of electrons. It's like a pool of electrons. It's a negative charge, is what they call that. When you ground the roof to the ground, okay, they both have a negative charge, because if that's losing electrons up top, it can easily get them back from the ground. So it just stays negative and there's nothing. But you take that grounding cable away, and that becomes positive up there, and the ground becomes negative. In between that, you have an electric field now. So all the interior of the church, you have an electric field that's stationary, not moving, but you can vibrate it, you can wiggle it. And from my studies talking about electrostriction and dielectric heating, with a field like that, the bell can cause vibrations in the porous masonry material and cause it to produce passive heating. A few degrees of heat just coming off the walls, enough to keep it warm, not melt the place down. But this is how they were heating old churches, old castles, old structures, using atmospheric electricity that is everywhere around us. So the voltage gradient, every meter of height above sea level, the voltage in the air goes up by between 100 to 300 meters. So here's maybe maximum 300 meters. Here's 300 volts, 600 volts, right? So you get a church like that, and we'll have to guess how high it is above sea level. We'll be conservative about it and say it's 60 meters above sea level. So if we were to go with the minimum voltage gradient, 60 meters of height above sea level would be 6,000 volts. So if you were to get an electrode and stick it up to there and then put another one in the ground, you should read that has 6,000 volts of disparity. So that's quite a bit. When you during a thunderstorm, that goes wildly up. When it's cloudy, that goes wild. Those numbers can get really crazy. Alchemists back in the 1500s and earlier and later were sitting up in towers doing alchemy experiments. And the one thing I've discovered is that it seems as though they were using that electric field to do electrochemistry back then, in a way that it's not complicated. You're just sitting in an electric field between the roof and the ground. You can start to alter matter in like electrolysis. Think of electrolysis. And that's the other thing too, is when you have the negative charge on the bottom, positive charge on the top, you're getting a lot more oxygen at the bottom and a lot more hydrogen at the top. So there's things we could talk about with that regarding airships, fueling airships, or having an oxygen-rich environment that can produce healing effects. And that's how it works. Static electricity. So the trick with static electricity is you can vibrate it. Once it's there, you can shake it, and different things have resonant frequencies, so you can get different effects. It's a whole different system than what we use, and it's incompatible with our current system. So long story short, the old world was lit, and in a whole different way. Electrostatics. We'll talk more about that in the future.